pressed fluid, whatever is there, to go back. So it has to go through the discharge side, and that's where the pressure build-up takes place.
Yeah, yes.
Jan, is this some specific interview of Tushar only, or are we just waiting for people to join?
No. If anyone can join, no problem. That's okay.
Okay. Like just a general.
No. We will be discussing upon the answer. Tushar is going to give answer. Then we will discuss on that answer.
Okay. Sure.
And I am glad that you are here because I am not that knowledge.
Previously, in our interview sessions, there was a one more GME guy. He's already been placed in some kind of company.
Kiran. No.
Yes.
We have we have two very bright-minded people. That one is Avito and second is Kiran, and we always strive to follow them.
Okay, because he's already placed and he's already sailing, and he was preparing for the class 4 interviews.
Gurvind sir, I think so.
No, he's Sandy. He's on.
Sandy, yeah.
Sandy is one of my good friends, like my best friend. We had worked together under.
So he's still on the still on home or on
board,
ship, right?
On board.
Okay.
He maintains low profile always. He don't say directly, but that's why he's not admin in that group also. But he deserved to be an admin.
I was also silent most of the time because whenever I get a little bit of time to discuss this kind of topics.
Okay, so just let's start with the questions and answers. So,
okay.
I will be asking most of the questions from mechanical, which you have sent. No, I will be skipping the marine question. So let's start with where is stuffing box is located and what is the use of stuffing box.
Okay. So first of all, the stuffing box is used in a 2-stroke main engine, and the purpose of stuffing box is that the scavenged air should not travel to the crankcase, and it is located between the entablature and the frame. It is used to prevent the cylinder lubrication to enter into the crankcase lubrication, and the crankcase lubrication should not enter into the scavenge area.
Okay. Why it is not in 4-stroke auxiliary engine?
In a 4-stroke, the inlet valve and the exhaust valve is provided, whereas in a 2-stroke the inlet valve is not there. So we only that suction port is there.
Suction port is there. So yes. What's harm in that? Like why suction port and transfer port is not that much? Forgive me. Okay, can you explain against what is the reason behind it?
In a 2-stroke, in a 2-stroke, the inlet valve is not there. Only the suction port is there. Suction port.
Okay.
In a 2-stroke, whereas in a 4-stroke, the inlet valve as well as the exhaust valve is provided on the top of the cylinder head. Whereas in a 2-stroke, only the exhaust valve is mounted on the cylinder head, and at the end of the liner, the suction port is there.
Suction port is there.
Scavenge port. Sorry, the scavenge port is there.
So my cross question is, in a case of 4-stroke, what does inlet and exhaust valve doing that it is not requiring to fit a stuffing box between them, like after cylinder?
Okay, that I have to read by myself again because I was not totally clear about it.
All right, Avito,
And let
Yeah,
me
yeah.
note this question because it is very
Any input
important.
from your side? Yes.
Yes. So firstly, what most people say is they say stuffing box also for the centrifugal compressor. So it will be, I mean, for the centrifugal pump. So it might be a good idea to clarify whether he wants to talk about the stuffing box or sealing box of the pump or of the engine, because otherwise he might think that you are trying to divert the topic.
Okay.
Secondly,
So
Tushar,
he
yeah,
specifically didn't mention which it is he's talking about, but while
So mostly the we discuss about stuffing box is about the main engine, because most common question asked about the stuffing box is about main engine, why
actually
and where it is located,
actually
where it is located.
he's from marine engine. He has done his marine engineering. So you
okay,
get
good, good.
okay.
So
So
Tushar,
you were
second
saying
point
something.
is,
Uh,
yeah, Tushar, second point is,
Let
yeah,
me please note down by one question, please.
sure.
Post
then
post to
till then you carry on, Avito.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, Tushar, you exactly said the answer actually indirectly. So
okay.
what you told us is in two-stroke there is separate lube oil for the cylinder liner part, and crankcase is separate lube oil with different TDN number, all of that.
Yes, yes.
In four-stroke we have the same oil in both cases. So why
Yes,
will I block it?
you're definitely
If I
right.
block it, how will my oil go from one place to the other? So that is the other main reason why we don't have stuffing box in four-stroke.
Post stroke, yes. Yes, definitely. You're definitely right. I should have also mentioned that. I remember that point, but I forgot. Slip of my
In which
mind.
of in which of two in two stroke or in four stroke, in which higher TBN oil is required?
In two stroke, first of all, the liner lubrication is different, and the crankcase lubrication is different, and the lubrication of a crankcase is higher TBN than a liner lubrication. Whereas in a four stroke, the lubrication for the liner as well as the crankcase will be the same.
No, talking about cylinder, in a cylinder oil, which of the in which of engine, two stroke
In
or
a two
four stroke?
stroke, uh, the liner in a two stroke, the crankcase TBN is higher than a liner lubrication. In a two stroke, the two different grades of lubrication oil is used. So that you asked me the which have a higher TBN.
And then after my second question is why it has higher TBN?
Because it has a higher TBN because crankcase has to the RPM which is generated by the crankcase is very high than the liner, because in the liner only we use for lubrication and for the heat dissipation in a heat dissipation.
You are you sure?
I am totally sure. I
What
have
is
read this
what
topic.
is
That
TBN?
is
What is
read this
TBN?
topic.
What is? Oh no, that is the reason we are discussing. Na? It's good. We are getting your big point. We'll tell you.
Total
What
base
is TBN?
number.
Total base number. Okay.
Total.
So
Yes.
having total base number higher means its basicity should be higher, and it should be able to neutralize more acid,
Yeah.
in which more
Acidity.
acidity is generating. In a case of two stroke, we use heavy fuel oil, other thing, or other toxic fuel that is generating more acid for
Acidity.
neutralizing acidity. For neutralizing that acidity, we require more basic for
Basic.
more TBN oil. Am I right, Abito?
Yeah, yes. And the main reason why we don't want to use same TBN in main engine is because the main engine crankcase oil, that reservoir is so large, you'll be spending thousands of dollars just to keep that high TBN oil over there where it is not required. So that is why the main size of the engine forces you to make this division that okay, cylinder liner, wherever I need the expensive oil, I'll use it over there. Cheap oil I can use in my crankcase where I just for lubrication, no sulfur issues, all of that.
Okay. All right. So moving to the next question. Function of crankshaft, please. Tushar, what is the function of
Yes.
camshaft?
Camshaft.
Yeah, what
The
is
function of the camshaft is to first opening and closing of the inlet valve, opening and closing of the exhaust valve, and the fuel injection in a cylinder.
Anything input from Avito? Anyone? Because I don't have other idea than this additional.
I had a slight network issue, so I couldn't comment on this.
No.
So I told about the camshaft is used for the inlet opening and closing of the inlet valve and opening and closing of exhaust valve, as well as the fuel injection, timing of the fuel injection. The purpose of camshaft is the function of camshaft
Okay,
are those.
so this is great for the purpose. Now tell me how exactly camshaft and the valve is opening. Like, give me that full procedure.
So in a two-stroke, the inlet valve is not there. So in the opening of the exhaust valve will be hydraulically, and the closing and it in this the timing will be decided by the cams which will help to open the valve timing, as well as the timing of the fuel injection in the fuel injector.
Okay.
If I had to give this answer, that how the function, how it exactly it works, like the working of camshaft is like there is cam lobe mounted on camshaft. From the cam lobe it has push rod that gone wire to the rocker arm assembly. There's a rocker arm shaft also. From that rocker arm assembly, it creates it is an oscillatory device that opens and closes a valve.
Okay, so then you can also mention how it is closing, so with the spring loaded, all of that.
Yes, but nowadays in a two-stroke, the spring is not available. Only the air spring is according,
Yeah,
because
so we can just say by itself it comes back or something like that, whatever.
What will be your explanation, Avito, on this?
More or less the same thing. I would just mention that, you know, the push rod is being pushed up whenever the cam gets activated, or basically the low part comes under the push rod, and then the rocker assembly now has a pivot point in the middle. So assuming that the push rod is on the left side, when the left side of this rocker arm goes up, it means that the right side will go down. This right side going down is what is pushing the valves open.
Okay.
And apart from that, recently again, I think you'll also know that some people are starting to ask about tappet clearance. So best thing is to, if it is some sir like Braganza sir, might as well speak about that now only, because he prefers to have everything in detail. So you can even speak about there, since camshaft and rocker arm has come, that the rocker arm is not directly touching the valves at all times. There's a slight clearance and all of that can be mentioned.
The tappet clearance is used to check the clearance between the rocker arm and the whatever what is going to say seat rocker arm and the seat
Stem valve.
and the pardon,
Stem valve and rocker arm. That stem something. What was it? Stem valve?
particular stem rocker arm. Recently somebody has answered this topic on the group.
The distance between that stem something I had also. Okay, tell me for setting tappet clearance, which instrument is used?
Filler gauge is used to check the tappet clearance of the exhaust valve as well as inlet valve.
Why there is a need of tappet clearance?
So that the time and so that the rocker arm and timing should be proper.
Is
So
it
that because
Herschel has to say
See,
something.
because what is giving timing is a camshaft. Camshaft will go exactly open in the proper timing. So timing is taken care of by the camshaft. So something else is the clearance. Why will I want a clearance?
Herschel has to say something on this. Herschel, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's the Avito asked why the clearance is there. So if he doesn't know the answer, can I explain?
Yeah,
yes,
that's why you.
Yeah, so the clearance is given for the thermal expansion of the valve, and also if clearance is given so that the rocker arm is not touching the valve all the time. clearance is not there, it will always touch the rocker arm, right? And also for the thermal expansion of the wall, because it is getting exposed to the heated, like the exhaust gas is very high in temperature, right? So it
Okay.
will expand thermally.
You are definitely right, but only the in exhaust valve, the taper clearance is more than inlet valve.
Why
But
it is
in
more?
Yeah.
Why it is more?
he is already explained due to the thermal expansion in
Why
exhaust
tappet
valve.
clearance?
It is exposed
Why
to the exhaust
tappet
gas
clearance? Hers, hold on. Why tappet clearance is more for exhaust valve? I want reason.
Because the taper clearance is provided at the more in exhaust valve because of thermal expansion take place, because the exhaust gases coming out from the combustion chamber is very high, and due to the thermal expansion and to prevent from thermal shock, the high taper clearance is provided.
Be concise, na? Because of that thermal expansion. In case of exhaust valve, the gas will have high temperature, so there is
High
a more
temperature.
probability of getting a higher thermal expansion. Avito?
Yeah, so that's as Gyan saying, try to be concise because your answer should be like as if you know it is direct. Otherwise, sometimes what happens is people start thinking for the answer while speaking. That's why you start going slightly round and round. So if your answer is direct, it means yes, he knows the answer, he is speaking it immediately.
Okay. All right. If tappet clearance is less, valve will open early or close early, or what will happen? It's a ahead question. If tappet clearance is less, okay, what will happen?
So if the taper clearance is less, so the valve will open early because the rocker arm will give the command to open the valve.
Okay, and delay in closure. Closes.
Closing this.
Anyone other wants to like to explain this?
Yeah, so one other main point that you can add is, let's say for example, I don't have tappet clearance, so my tappet clearance has become less. Because most of the time you have to keep on checking, is it less? If it is less, increase it. So if my tappet clearance is less, my valve might not fully close, so that will reduce heavily my compression ratio and all of the pressure that I am building in the engine.
Okay. Yes,
Okay.
loss of compression pressure. Okay. It results in loss of compression pressure, leakage of scavenged air, high fuel consumption. I need to read this again because I am not very much deep into it. Okay. All right. Next question is why centrifugal pump discharge valve is closed? We have discussed just this.
Recently we have discussed. No problem. First, we are the only two persons who have discussed already. On the rest of the
We have already
the
discussed
participants
many
was
times. We have already discussed
okay.
many times this. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Now, what is heat exchanger? Which heat exchanger is more effective?
First of all, the heat exchanger is a device which is used to transfer the heat from one medium to another medium, and the plate type heat exchangers are more efficient.
Why?
Because the surface area of the surface area for what should I say? The surface area is more for the passing of the heat.
Okay, on which criteria it depends?
Sorry.
Only on surface area.
Only on the surface. Fin types. I was totally right. The fin type heat exchanger are used.
We don't know about this, but I want to ask.
Only the fin type heat exchanger are used because of the surface area.
What are the criteria that decide that efficiency is more? It's surface area, gap between fins. What are the?
Because in the fin type there are one is a shell type heat exchanger, one is a fin type, and third one I don't remember right now because I have discussed. I have written down a topic that fin type heat exchanger is has a more surface area. That's why the heat dissipation take place more.
Anyone
Avito,
anyone else, Avito and any other would like to explain the same answer?
Yeah, I think even I have heard, plate type to be the best, but in certain cases, whenever there's a fluid that I'm trying to cool, for example, best example of this is in the air compressor. So your intercooler, you will not have plate type, you will have the tubes.
tube type,
So
yes,
you'll have the
shell type.
air going inside the tube and then water in the surrounding. So you can mention that in certain cases, if plate type is not possible, it is in this case whenever I have something like a fluid that I'm trying to cool, because I cannot put the fluid in a plate. So in that case, I am forced to go for this type of thing. But again, I can force the fluid, like if the fluid is water, to pass inside some tubes which is connected to the plate, like LT cooler on the ship, etc.
Have you seen the transformers?
Transformers, yes.
So in a transformer, the plate type heat exchangers are used, and the lube oils, coolant is introduced in the
flowing.
system.
Okay.
Flowing, yes, yes. So in this, the in a plate type, the fluid is also there,
Hmm.
so that it should the heat. Actually, I know the answer, but right now I was not able to express. Like you are very good.
So one
to
more thing is,
express.
in case you can express in Hindi, it is good for us.
Okay.
No issues of like sticking to English only.
Okay, if you are lagging, then for some time, but this one. Yes, Harshal has to say something.
Yes, as he explained that by increasing the surface area, heat transfer increases. I would like to give one example. Like if you have seen the bike engine, the fins are provided just to increase the surface area so that the heat transfer increases, right? So that is the best example you can give if you are talking about the surface area.
Yes.
The next question is, which all forces act on crankshaft? Interesting.
In crankshaft, one is a rotational motion, torsional forces, and compression forces. These are the three forces I remember right now. And there are two more forces which I have written down in my note.
By which
notebook.
component
But
this
right
force is
now,
creating? By which component this force is creating?
whenever the combustion take place, the combustion force will take place, and the rotation is already going on. That the रोटेशन तो हो ही रही है उसमें अपने क्रैंकशाफ्ट में, तो इसकी वजह से रोटेशनल मोशन और टॉर्शनल फोर्सेस लगेंगे उसके अंदर.
You just mentioned combustion force. We have
when the combustion take place in a liner, the combustion force is going to transfer to the
but उसे combustion force बोलेंगे, ऐसा तो force कोई टाइप नहीं खोला.
Compression
force,
right?
Compression force, sorry.
Harsh, you are also from Marine? Harshal?
No, I am not from Marine. I am in mechanical.
Okay, are you sure it is compression force?
Compression and textile force.
He is definitely right, because I have written down this answer.
और वो flywheel के वजह से जो force होगा, due to the force that is mounted on flywheel is mounted on that crankshaft.
So it will almost be some kind of resistance, right? Yeah.
Resistance, yes.
But I'm not sure what it is called exactly. So if someone can give us the correct term for that.
Rotational kinetic energy store कर रहा है, तो ये rotational force ही होगा. What flywheel is doing, it is just storing rotational kinetic energy where it is storing on the crankshaft. Then the forces on the crankshaft will be also one is rotational kinetic. The force is rotational force.
Torsional force, you want to say?
Yeah, the rotational force is the torsional.
Torsional, circular force will be the torsional one.
Torsional force, yes.
Okay. The next question is, what is rectifier?
I have found out the combustion forces, inertia forces, gas pressure forces, and frictional forces. These are the four forces which will act on the crankshaft.
Inertia forces is due to flywheel.
Yes. and the gas pressure forces which are exerted by the piston with the and the high gases are going to be created by the cylinder.
So one force is
And-
combustion. Which force?
One is combustion, one is inertia force, third is gas pressure force, and fourth is frictional force.
So guys, this is maybe marine terminology we are not very much aware of. Okay. That's why it's a
Yeah.
combustion force or something. Okay.
Yeah, and also only 10 minutes left.
All right.
Also, he explained that gas force is acting right on the crankshaft. So if you see, tensile and compression force will also act on the crankshaft. That's
Yes,
the
yes,
reason the crank deflection takes place. Right?
yes. And tensile and compression forces both are going to take place in
Yeah,
in
simultaneously
a
interact.
yes, yes, simultaneously it is going to interact definitely.
All right. Moving to the next question. What is rectifier and types of rectifier?
Rectifier. Rectifier is a device which is going to actually I was confused.
No.
Suddenly
Carry on,
new
carry
topics. The rectifier is a device which is going to convert the AC into DC. In this, the different type of diodes are used. The sometimes are bits half wave rectifier, full wave rectifier. In a half wave, only the 2 diodes are used, whereas in a full wave rectifier, the 4 diodes are used to convert the AC into the DC.
AC into DC or DC into AC?
AC into DC.
Are you sure?
I'm 100% sure.
All right. Yes, jackpot. Jackpot, you have raised the hand. Okay.
I think my mistake.
Okay. What are high pressure boiler and its type?
So boilers. There are first of all smoke tube water tube boilers are have a high pressure boiler, whereas the smoke tube boilers are not high pressure boilers. So the Aalborg boiler is one of the name of the boiler is Aalborg boiler, which is a water tube boiler having a up to 100 bar pressure. Steam can be generated in a Aalborg.
Okay. High pressure boiler can the pressure of working pressure of high pressure boiler.
The high pressure boilers have a in a smoke type boiler, it can the pressure the steam can be generated up to 50 bar, whereas in a water tube boiler the steam can be generated up to 100 or 150 bar. So Aalborg is the one of the type of the boiler. Cochrane is also a water tube boiler, but the Aalborg boilers can generate up to 100 to 120 bar of steam pressure.
Yeah, in our interview, it is not going to ask the types of boiler other than water tube and.
Of course, in your interview, he is not going
And
to
we
ask.
have heard of water tube boiler that can handle up to more than 80 bar pressure.
80 bar pressures. That's why I told you that the water tube boiler can generate up to this Aalborg can generate up to 100 to 120 bar pressure.
Okay.
Sorry to
So-
interrupt, but as far as I know, the Aalborg boiler generates maximum pressure of 21 bars. Like it is used on chemical tankers and all, right? The gas carriers and the tankers.
Pardon?
The Aalborg boiler, the maximum pressure is 21 bars.
No.
Right, as far as I know.
No, I have a notes. I have a notes in my handouts, proper GME handouts.
Okay,
and
send
it
that
is
na
already-
later. Okay. The next question is properties of fuel oil and lube oil. LO is lube oil.
Pardon. And properties of?
Fuel oil and lube oil.
Oh, very simple answer. So first of all, it's density, viscosity.
Okay. Don't say
it's,
this in front of
the-
interviewer.
of
Very
course.
simple answer.
Of course. First of all, the answer will be that the viscosity, density, and alkalinity alkalinity, and one is that alkalinity उसमें TBN आ गया ना, and compressibility, and one is called cooling को क्या कहते हैं? There is one term used that the fuel at which the fuel is going to be become cool. I don't remember that particular.
So when you mention cool, you mean just normal cooling or freezing?
Freezing, yes, freezing. I was trying to express.
4 point.
Yes, pour point. Definitely, you
Flash
are right.
point, cloud point.
Flash point, pour point. These are all the properties of the fuel and the lube oil. Both will be the same.
What is cavitation? Last question.
Okay, the cavitation. The corrosion take place in a tube is known as cavitation. In a cavitation.
Did you bought merchant navy package, that dreamer package?
Yes, I have bought, but I haven't such time for reading so many topics.
We have discussed
Cavitation.
this topic 1,000 times at least in our discussion. Okay, all right.
Cavitation.
Jackpot.
Can someone explain what is
Yeah,
cavitation?
I would like to ask Jackpot.
Yes, bro. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Cavitation is process on to you. Explain it.
Oh yes. Sorry.
Cavitation.
I remember
Let him
now.
speak.
What
Let's
is
go.
cavitation?
Okay.
Okay. Oh
Okay.
my God, such a big blunder.
No worry, it's just a mock interview. Don't
Yes.
do this blunder while interview.
While interview, yes. Cavitation, first of all, okay. Let him explain.
Okay, Jack, explain. Jack is also
No
from Marine
problem. Go
Engineering.
ahead. Yeah, I know it better. You can explain.
You both are from Marine and you are passing on each other. Go
No,
ahead.
I am not passing.
Okay, Tushar.
First of all, whenever the vapor pressure decreases, and the bubbles are going to form, and it is going to damage the casing of the centrifugal pump, is known as cavitation.
Vapor pressure of what? The fluid inside that, or vapor pressure that is the negative pressure that is being created for suction?
The negative pressure which is created by the fluid inside the centrifugal pump.
It's the vapor pressure of fluid that is
Vapor bubbles.
Sorry.
Which is created. Yes.
I also confused. Lowering of suction pressure. Okay. Of fluid. Okay. Evito,
Yes.
put it now in a formal way, organized way.
For cavitation?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so mainly you can mention regarding where it occurs as well as what it is. So you can say that in a pump, whenever you have, let's say you give an example, you can mention how you can prevent it also. So for example, you can mention the net suction or net positive suction head. So you can say cavitation is such a thing that is going to take place whenever there's lack or drop in suction pressure. There might be some air bubble formation because of your impeller spinning. So whenever these air bubbles later burst with the inside the fluid, they will cause some damage to the impeller and the casing of your pump. But this can be prevented if the net positive head that we are giving to the suction side, which is called as the available net positive suction head, is greater than the required, which is mentioned by the manufacturer.
Abhito, can I ask you from which place you are from? And you are doing the BTech?
Yeah, I'm currently doing BTech from Chennai.
Okay, you have a good communication skill as well as
He is from La La Land, Goa.
Okay, no, the way he delivers the topic is
Yes.
very calm and smooth manner.
Yeah, Partagios left him while going. He's
Pardon?
yes. I was just humoring that Partagios that used to rule on Goa left him while going. All right. All right, Tushar. So this was all your mock interview. Your recording will be provided to
So,
you. Okay. So I
so
hope next
how
time.
was the